All right, guys. So today I'm gonna just do a little reaction video here on some of these crypto YouTubers that I watch. Really, this video is just gonna be about mindset. So first, we're gonna jump into Crypto Jon. If you're not subscribed to him, I suggest you go check out that channel because he's just got a really chill vibe, and he's just like really he's one of the calms in the storm for me as far as when it comes to mindset and crypto investing. So we're going to jump into his video real quick and see what he's talking about. He just dropped this video today. Like I said, go give him a subscribe and a follow. He's got some great content over there. So we'll jump into this and see what he's got to say, and then we'll go check out some Raw Powell.
In today's video, we're going to talk about the crypto part of the cycle that no one talks about, but everyone experiences. And that is the hopeless phase that we're in. Think of it like, I know some of you watch that show, Stranger Things. We're pretty much in the upside down. We got sucked into this portal. We're trying to figure out if we're going to come out alive on top. And it just looks like it's doom and gloom. But, and it's crazy because today, someone on my Discord, shout out to Rob, posted how the banks are even short in the market and they shorted gold and silver. And we saw a tank today for gold and silver. But not only gold and silver, Bitcoin came down from 90K last night or earlier today in the morning, and then it just tanked back down to 87K. I've been saying this is how it's going to be for the remainder of this year, which is like a few more days. I was telling my Discord today, now I'm telling you, I think sometime in January, it's going to set in that this is the new normal for Bitcoin and crypto, and that we're probably going to have a slow bleed in Q1 of this year. Now, we could have a rally. We could definitely have a rally. Reason being, we've been in the bear market for altcoins since the start of this year, 2025, which is over a year, which means accumulation's coming. 2, we have monetary policy changing. 3, how much apathy could we have in the market before people just say, screw it, we're going to buy crypto? So a lot could happen in Q1 and Q2 of this year, but if I had to, put a prediction on it, again, just my own opinion, I think we're going to see a slow bleed. Bitcoin, regardless, is going to give us its move. It's going to either tell us we're going to 90K and hold above it, 95K maybe, or we're going to go below 83K down to 80K and possibly below. I will say, I don't think we're going to go to like a 40K Bitcoin again. To be honest, I wouldn't even be surprised if we don't break below 70K before we see the return happen for rallies and altcoins recovery. Again, we've already seen the worst of the worst in terms of fear for altcoins. Right now, they're just losing liquidity to Bitcoin because Bitcoin can't find a leg to stand on, hence why it keeps going up and down and kind of just trading sideways. But the chop is going to be either falling into a downtrend, a continued downtrend in 2026, or have a reversal at some point. So regardless.
Okay, so that's him talking about chopping sideways and just the downtrend action. And we're bleeding, man. My portfolio's been bleeding for quite some time. It's bad, So what I did was I got out of some of the plays that I was in that I didn't have confidence in. I got out of those plays and I put them into something that I can hold conviction in, which for me is mostly Solana. I had a small SUI position, but right now I'm focused on stacking that Solana bag. I'm focused on staking rewards, and really it just gives me a peace of mind. And if we're having more downtrend action, more chopping sideways, this is great for me. This is a great time for me to stack up on that and just build that position, because the lower I get my averages down, the earlier I can cash out. And that's what I'm hoping to do. A piece of advice I can give you is to not compare your positions and your portfolio to someone else's portfolio. For instance, I work in ministry, and we focus on men's recovery through Jesus. And I don't make a lot of money. I'm after my take-home pay from my check, I have just a couple of $100 that I can use to invest. The take-home pay that I can invest is, just a couple of $100. And if I compare myself to someone that's making thousands of dollars a month to invest, or if I compare myself to some of these top wallet holder addresses, and it can be really discouraging. And I suggest that you position yourself how best you can for your future and not to worry about anybody else. Because the thing is, comparison is the thief of joy. As long as you're comparing yourself to somebody, you're never going to be happy. So find some conviction in the plays that you want to invest in. Do your research on those, and then just stack your positions till you're comfortable. And once you reach the position that you want to be at in those positions, then you're good to go off into another one. But don't spread yourself too thin. That's what I did at first. I spread myself really thin, put a lot of money in a couple of plays, and over time I lost conviction in a few of those, and then over time I lost conviction in almost all of them. I'm still holding only one of my original positions from when I very first started investing. I've only been investing since September 23, and I made a lot of bad decisions in crypto so far. I've also learned a lot of lessons, and that's what keeps me going. So in order to gain traction again, as far as crypto, I've put my money into a play that I really believe in. There's no way you can tell me Solana's going to zero. It's crazy. You know, it's a good play to be in. There are other ones, but Solana for me is my highest conviction play besides Bitcoin. I do have some Bitcoin, but the returns for me, I think, would be easier to make on Solana. So that's why I'm pumping that bag, and I'm just going to keep loading up on that thing for the foreseeable future. I could be holding this bag for a few years to a decade or more. Who knows? We'll see how that plays out. The goal overall is to take that money and then put that into Bitcoin and into my retirement fund. So now more than anything, I'm stacking my hedges. I kind of neglected my hedges for riskier crypto plays, but you know, I'm married. I have a house with kids, and I'm not as risk averse as I was before. So now it's time to tap into something safer. You know, I'm watching my portfolio bleed, and I keep trying to tell my wife, you know, this is worth it. Hold on, we're going to make it. And it's hard to keep that conviction when all I'm seeing is red. So if I'm going to be holding red, it's going to be in a position, a blue chip, a large cap coin that I know can recover, and the market always recovers. So we're going to go over here and check out Raoul Pal and see what he's talking about. And I really want to encourage you to do your research on Raoul Pal. You know, some people say that he's a moron. Some people say that he's the GOAT. So I find value in him. And here's this is the When Shift Happens podcast. He was on there. And so he asked him, is it realistic to put all your hope in crypto? Let's see what he says.
The ones who are really angry or, let's say, emotional, I mean, they're humans, right? It's normal.
Yeah.
It's because you always say everybody has their hopes and dreams in their portfolio, right? Or in the crypto portfolio. Is it realistic for people to put all their hope and dreams in their crypto portfolio or in a crypto trade?
No, it's not realistic. But it's the only answer people can find. Because you can say the other way, which is, oh, just get a second job or a third job. They're already doing 3 jobs. What is the answer? And I can't find one, because we can't change the political system. We can't change the debasement of currency to pay for the debt. How do we give them a chance? Would you give them handouts? Possible. Or do you give them access to the casino? It's not the best answer.
You can save your money and lose it to inflation. You can put your money under the mattress, lose it to inflation. If you're not working a high-paying job, if you're not working multiple jobs, if you're not doing something to get ahead of this inflation, or you're not doing something to set yourself up for success, like investing, unless you're selling drugs or committing crimes, there's no way to multiply the small amount of money that you make to set yourself up for the future. For me, I wasted a lot of time in drug addiction, in a life of crime, and I didn't start investing until my 40s. So for me, especially, the only way that I can see that I can multiply the small amount of money that I get a month is by investing. And it's the safest way. It's the most positive way to make sure that my family is set up for success, for retirement, for vacations, for our future, for college, for everything. The odds are stacked against me because I was not a good steward of the life that God gave me, and I wasted and squandered all of my wealth. And I learned a lot of lessons on the way. I learned a lot of what to not do, what to do, and how to be a man, and how to move on forward. But it's crunch time. I'm making up for all this lost time right now. And just like he said, there's no other way to get myself ahead except for investing. So let's get back into the video and see what he says.
At core, those people who are more desperate tend to go further down the casino route, as opposed to, and you mentioned this a lot in your X posts, is it's a slow game, but people want it to happen immediately. But really, if you just said, hey, in 10 years time, I could probably 20x my money, I mean, that's la la land performance versus anything else. But people don't want to do it. They want 20x their money this month or this year. And then they break it down and they delude themselves that they only have the time of the cycle or this quarter or this trade. And it's like, and then people just get angry because it doesn't work. And it doesn't work. It's never worked.
There's an entire section on that today, actually. So I didn't get that sick and travel that much for nothing. I went on the field, talked to people in the Silicon Valley, and really grasped this much more long-term view. And today we're going to discuss that because I think it's really important for people to understand, and they don't want to.
They don't want to.
They don't want to.
And you see a lot of the anger is, and we've talked about this in the past, is time horizon mismatch. It's like you can tell them where it's going. This adoption of technology is not stopping. And it's at 3 and a bit trillion today. It's going to 100 trillion. So we're 3% of the journey there. And I'm saying it's probably going to take 10 years. That's a huge trade. And everyone's like, but what about today? The market went down.
But I saw one who basically said the classic, you're again saying zoom out when things don't go well, right? Basically, they're saying that you use the zoom out excuse and it's too easy as an excuse to use.
I promised you tomorrow that if you buy and hold an investment for 10 years, that you can 3x, 4x your money, and it was a guarantee, would you take the chance? For me, it's a no-brainer. I've wasted money on more frivolous things that didn't give me any return. And so if you're giving me the chance to 4x, 3x, 4x my money in 10 years, the stock market doesn't even do that. So why wouldn't you take a chance? See, most people have a short-term mindset and they want these overnight gains, and it's just not realistic. Now, you can get into some meme coins, 100x, 1000x, but for most of us, we're just regular retail investors, and we might work a job. We don't have time to hunt down those plays, and they're really risky. So some of us might not be so risk adverse to take an option like that. I have a long-term vision when it comes to investing, and I'm in it for the long haul. I will be investing for the rest of my life. So why not put this money to work? And instead of looking for the quick gains like I did at first, I was invested in micro caps and a lot of meme coins, and that's where I lost the money at. So now I'm invested in, I'm stacking my Roth IRA. I'm stacking my individual investment account on Robinhood. I got my Vanguard account going, and I also have my blue chip large cap crypto. And so I feel safer now. I feel more at ease, ready for the long haul. And I've removed that overnight 1 month, 2 month, 1 year mindset from my portfolio, and it's giving me that much more peace. The best advice I can give you is to just find a place where you are comfortable, where you can DCA daily, weekly, monthly, and just put that money in there. If you got some money left over, you can buy the dips. That is a place of comfort. Now that doesn't mean that your investment journey must be comfortable, because let's be real, nobody's investment journey can be just 100% to the moon. There will be highs, there will be lows, but if you're in plays that you trust, that your convictions are high in, man, just buy the dip. Buy when it's red, buy when it's high, especially if you're in a long-term mindset. You can just put that money in there, not worry about it, and just keep investing. Especially with like Roth IRAs, ETFs, those things are pretty much safe. You can invest in a Roth IRA. It's after-tax money. Cash that thing out later and be set up, man. Especially when you start investing in like high dividend stocks, and there's comfort in knowing that you're getting something back. every epoch, every month, every quarterly, however they pay you back in the dividend. But just stack those plays and get those bags filled. And then once you start getting dividends off of that, you feel a little bit better. So that's what I've been focusing on. Let's get back into this video.
Are not doing as well as we hope in the short term. What do you tell someone like that?
So the short term is more dominated by noise or shorter term factors. The long term is driven by the two key factors, network adoption and debasement of currency. So it's much more forecastable, probabilistically so. The short term is less so. So of course, the short term deviates from the long term often, always does. And people don't want to believe that. So, right, everyone put their hopes and dreams into the M2 chart. I said it's not going to always work perfectly. Everyone reads that as Raoul says it's going to work perfectly and it's always going to match. So then it deviates. So then my job as a macro analyst is to figure out, why is it deviating? What's changed? And you see it deviating on lots of charts, from monetary measures to historical parallels. And it's like, okay, something here has happened that I don't quite understand. So I then do the work on it. And I figure out, okay, this was to do with the and we can talk about the details of it, the withdrawal of liquidity as the Treasury built the general account. And so it's like, okay, it's understandable. We see what's going on. So you adjust your understanding of where you are in that long-term trend and what's going on, and then have the government shutdown. People don't see that. They think it should all work perfectly. It never can do, because the short term always has a lot more noise to signal ratio, and the long term has all of the signal to noise ratio.
I actually saw a bunch of very smart people who, a lot of these people who are in crypto now, they're previous TradFi people, especially traders, and they're saying, obviously, these crypto markets are maturing, changing. There's more and more institutions, which means that the more institutions, the more professional traders using AI and all that stuff, which basically says that there's almost no alpha anymore in crypto, except in the long term. So the only thing you can do is kind of buy and hold as a normal investor, right? Or normal trader, and bet on this long-term trend that you're talking about.
So I've seen this.
Listen, guys, we can go on all day listening to these clips. Really, I just want to reiterate what Raul's saying here, what Crypto Jon's saying here. Man, get your mindset in a place of calm. Understand what's going on. Right now, we're so set up for the macro is crazy right now. We're so set up for a parabolic run. Who knows when it's going to happen? Do I think it's going to happen next year? I don't care. Do I think it's going to happen in 2027? I don't care. What I am doing is I'm positioning myself for it. I'm taking advantage of these dips. I'm taking advantage of the red, and I'm stacking. And I'm okay with that, man. I'm okay with that because I have high conviction that we will rally, we will pump. And along the way, I'm just going to be stacking those bags, educating myself. Do your research. If your position is based off someone else's conviction, you'll never last. Do your own research in your own positions to build your own conviction. Because at the end of the day, none of this stuff is financial advice. This is all for entertainment, all for educational purposes, and none of us know what's going to happen. No one has a crystal ball. We could all go to zero tomorrow. So I hope you guys found some value from this, and I hope you guys can relax a little bit during this red and just stack, man. Just stack. Don't give up hope. Stay diligent, and it will all pay off, guys. That's going to do it for this one. Until then, catch you guys on the next one. God bless.